Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation. This is all your latest Rangers news. I'm Owen James, and this is it, guys. Look, this is a difficult one, actually. You know what? I've obviously had some time to think, go back from work, watch some other podcasts of people whose opinion I respect, people like Martin from the Rabble, David Edgar, Scott from Club at 22. It's a difficult one. It is a genuinely difficult one. I'm not going to sit down here and I'm not going to break down the game because I think lots of people have done that before me and probably done it a lot better than me. You know, the performance was an absolute shambles from beginning to end. I don't think any of the players deserve any credit for the game. I don't think any of the players got pass marks. I thought all the players were dreadful. And they were dreadful because we lost. We lost to Kilmarnock. We could have lost 3-4-5-0 in the end. I'd listened to the post-match interview with Philippe Clement. I certainly don't recognise the game that he watched. I think he must have watched a different game. I really do. Maybe he watched the Man City game. I don't know. Maybe he watched something different to what we all watched. And maybe he had his Man City game on his phone. I mean, I'm going to be wholly honest with you. This club is an absolute shambles from top to bottom. And you know what? We're going to get, over the next few days, we're going to get absolutely slaughtered by Celtic fans. We're going to get them coming on, putting comments, laughing, taking the mickey, genuinely just having a genuinely very good time at our expense. And I'll be honest with you, I agree with what Martin said from the Rabble on the podcast, on their post-match. I agree. We deserve it. We deserve every single minute of it because we're a shambles. We're an absolute laughing stock. We are an absolute joke of a football club at this moment in time. Now, my question is, how can one of the biggest football clubs in Europe genuinely end up as this much of a laughing stock? Is it Philippe Clement? Partly, yes. Is it the players? Partly, yes. Is it the board? Partly, yes. Is it the fans? No. In fact, I would say that the fans are the only ones who absolve any sort of blame on this front whatsoever. You know, I want to first of all start with a positive, start with a big shout out. I've got to say, you know, the away fans who went to Rugby Park yesterday to watch the game, you deserve a huge amount of credit. You know, you stood, you sat, you watched an absolute disgrace of a performance, an absolute shambles of a performance, an absolute embarrassment of a performance. Yet you were there from minute 1 to minute whatever it was, and you backed the team, you sang, you cheered, you raised banners, you had flags, you gave your absolutely everything to support this team. So I want to give you massive, massive credit for what you did. It can't have been easy. It genuinely couldn't have done, because I'll tell you something. The passion and the heart that you showed, if the players had gone out and showed 50% of what you showed, would have won the game easily. The players didn't even show 5% of that. I'll be honest with you. I watched the game and the players didn't care less. They could not give a monkeys. They genuinely don't care. I mean, that's harsh. I know it's harsh, but it's true. You tell me who actually cared out there, who actually gave a shit about that game yesterday, because I'll tell you, you're wrong. None of them cared. None of them cared. Now, look, the club's a shambles. The club is shambles. You know, look, and I'm going to make one thing clear from the outset. This is going to disappoint a lot of people. I know it is. Philippe Clement is not going to be sacked this week. There is absolutely no chance whatsoever that Philippe Clement will be sacked this week. It is not going to happen. And it is not going to happen for two main reasons. One, we don't actually have a board to make decisions. We have no chairman, no permanent chairman. John Gilligan will feel as temporary chairman. This is not a decision he can take. There is no CEO in place to take this decision. There is nobody to take the decision. So he will remain in charge. Okay, that is a fact. That is 100% fact. Look, and that's going to upset people, disappoint people, but there is absolutely zero chance of him getting sacked this week. Okay. Second reason why he won't be sacked, because the board have just given him a year's extension, and it's going to cost us a lot of money to sack him, and we can't afford it. We haven't got the money to sack him. So if we sack him and we have to pay out X million and sacking him, then that's the winter transfer budget gone, because it'll have gone to him, because we won't be able to pay it, because that's the genuine fact. We haven't got the money. So we're stuck with him. Realistically, we're stuck with him till the end of the season. Now, look, you know me, I've sat here on a number of occasions and I've backed Philippe Clement. I've given him my support. I've said the guy needs time. The guy needs the chance to rebuild. He hasn't been fully backed by the board, yada, yada, yada. However, I've watched that today. I've reflected back on the St Johnstone game and the Hibs game, which we won both of them, but we're pretty pants in both of them. And I look at and listen to his press conferences, and you hear him playing the same old card. Today, we've got new players. It takes time for them to settle in. Some will settle in quicker than others. Yada, yada, yada. Bollocks, blah, blah, blah. I'll be honest with you. When I hear Philippe Clement speak at any point now, all I hear is blah, blah, bullshit, blah, blah, bullshit, blah, 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 bullshit. That's all I hear. I genuinely doubt. The guy's a liar. The guy is an absolute liar. I mean, he makes Michael Beale look like Mahatma Gandhi. He genuinely does. He is Paul Le Guen, Pedro Caixinha 2.0. He makes Pedro Caixinha look like a good manager. He makes Paul Le Guen look like a good manager. Now, what grounds do I say that? Okay. Why do I say that? Now, look, I've coached. I have my FA coaching certificates. Okay, right? I've done coaching badges. Right? I'm nowhere near as good as him. Probably better, actually. Not really. I've never coached at a high level. I've never coached professionally. I've only coached at amateur level. Coached kids. I've coached young adults, etc., etc. Right. So that's out from the outset. So taking my blue goggles off for a moment and watching the game. I have to put them on because I can't see without them. But putting them on and sitting there and watching the game as a coach now, not as a Rangers fan for a minute, watching it as a coach. As if I was scouting his team for my team to play his team, okay? And you ask me, what is his style? What is his shape? What is his ideas? What is his tactics? I don't know. I genuinely do not know. He doesn't seem to have any tactics. He doesn't seem to have a style. He doesn't seem to have a formation that works. He has a 4-2-3-1, and he's so wedded to it. It's ridiculous. He's more wedded than a Catholic. But look, at the end of the day, one of the most fundamental things you need to do as a coach is you take the players that you've got. You take what you've got. You can want all you want. Look, if I was coaching a football team, I would love to have Lionel Messi playing just off Kylian Mbappe, with Ronaldo on the right wing, with with I don't know who else. I think some good footballers for a minute. With Mo Salah on the left wing, with Trent Alexander-Arnold as right back, with Jude Bellingham in midfield alongside N'Golo Kante, with centre backs of the quality of William Saliba, and picking random names out of the air at the moment. Good centre backs, I don't know, Matt Hummels, someone like that. Anyway, I'd love to have that, but I ain't got that, and I haven't. Rangers haven't got that. We haven't got truly world class footballers. We've got some good footballers. We've got some decent footballers, and we've got some very average footballers. And as a coach, your job is to take your players and to make the best of what you've got, to sort a system, to sort a set of tactics, to sort a shape, to sort a style that works for your players. And if you're looking, getting away from, they're bad examples because they're all absolute world talents. And we can talk about new managers south of the border. You can talk about the likes of Arne Slot at Liverpool, who are currently top of the league. You can talk about Regis Lebris, who's the current Sunderland manager, who's got them top of the league. You can talk, about Unai Emery. You can talk about all those managers, but it's not realistic comparison because they've got multi-million-pound budgets. But let's look at Scotland. let's look at Scotland. Jimmy Phelan, Aberdeen manager, not got a massive budget, not got millions of pounds to spend. Has to do with what he's got. He's got them playing decent football. He's got a style. He's got a set of tactics. And I'll tell you one thing that impressed me about him, and I hate to keep going about the sheep, but they were 2-0 down at half time. And did he say, done, it's done? No, he said, right, change of plan. Plan A is out the window. Plan B, this is plan B. We do this, this, and this. Fucking go for them. Just go for them. And they did. And they got a 2-2 draw. Can you imagine Philippe Clement doing that? Taking plan A, throwing it out the window and going, right, plan B is go for it. No, of course, because plan B hasn't got a plan B. Plan A seems to be, I don't know, plan B is to do plan A, but with different players in the same positions doing the same things that the other players were doing, hoping that the players you brought on will do it slightly better than the players you had on the pitch previously, which to me doesn't seem like an actual set of tactics or an actual, idea. Genuinely, he doesn't have a style, he doesn't have a shape, he doesn't have a formation. His football is boring. His teams play too slowly. One of the biggest things today against very well. I mean, look, credit to Kilmarnock. That's what I'm going to say from the outset. Credit to Derek McGuinness. Credit to Kilmarnock for getting the result. Credit for the way you organised. Credit for the way you set up. You did exactly what you need to do to get the result. And with big respect to you, well done, guys. But if we had a manager who had a set of tactics, a set of ideas to get around them, we could have beaten that. But we played right into their hands. We played slow, cumbersome, boring, low-grade football, which just basically allowed them to play their football and to do what they wanted to do. And you listen to Clement post-match talk about our dominance. Well, what the fuck game were you watching, mate? Were you watching the rerun of the Hearts Rangers game from last year, the 5-0? There was no dominant patch in that game whatsoever. And you can argue all you want from stats, Clement, but look at the reality of the situation. Watch the fucking game. Watch what actually happened in the match, and you'll see that it was just an absolute dire shambles from minute 1 to minute 90, whatever it was in the end. I'll be honest, this ain't getting any better. This is why I've turned a lot, because it ain't getting any better. I can't see anything that's getting any better. There's no tactics, shape, formation, gone over that. Substitutions that he makes make absolutely zero sense whatsoever. The substitutions just seem to be to put someone else in the same position as the player you've just took off, play the same way, and hope that he will do something different to the other person and conjure a goal from you out of nothing. Which to me that's just ridiculous. He's not proactive enough. He doesn't change things quickly enough. He doesn't manage the game. He doesn't actually do his job properly. You look at the best coaches in world football. You look at the coaches who make a difference. They change tactics. They change shape. They change the way they're playing. They change the way they move the ball. They do different things when they bring subs on. And the sub that genuinely does not get me. Look, you could have made any sub. Realistically, any sub you wanted because they were all shit today. But keeping Tavernier on, pushing him up to right wing when the guy's got absolutely no pace whatsoever to go past the man, and putting on another right back, a defensive player, when you're 0-0 away to Kilmarnock, playing with absolutely zero chance of scoring, makes absolutely zero sense whatsoever. It genuinely makes no sense. There is no logical world where that actually makes any sense. Now, the other thing about Clement that is really, really getting to me and grinding my gears about him is the fact that he lies. He just talks an absolute load of bollocks. He said at the start of the season, and I quote, James Tavernier will not play 60, 65 games. He cannot start and play every game. Well, he started and played every single game so far, bar about 40 minutes. So that's a lie. You'll see the best of Rangers in October, November. Well, this is the best. This is the best. I hate to see the worst because this is genuinely dreadful. It beggars belief. It genuinely does. And he seems to have changed his wording now. You'll see a better Rangers. No, Philippe, you said the best. And I know your English is not your first language, but you would have figured that out. And it's not just him. And like I said, I'd love him to be sacked this morning. I'd love him to be called into Ibrox and Howie and sacked. And someone else brought in. Who? Look, Kevin Muscat, I think would be a great shout. as manager. I think he'd be brilliant as manager. I think that who else would be a decent manager? I think that I'll be honest with you. I think Derek McInnes is. I mean, he's a better look. I don't think he's the perfect man, but he's a better man than Philippe Clement for the job. 100% better. Who else do I think could do a job? Who else do I think could do a job? I think it has to be a British manager. Man, what? Look, I don't know. I mean, I don't think need to sit and look at it. I need to sit and think about it. But I think there's a whole host of people probably that we could actually find if we actually sat and thought about it, who could actually come in and do a better job than Philippe Clement, because the football looks listless. Look, I mean, I'll be honest with you, he will still be in a job this time next week, because at the end of the day, there's no one to take the decision. There's no CEO, there's no chairman. John Gilligan won't have the authority to take that decision. Staying the same, innit? But look, we've got a massive week. We've got Stir Bucharest on Thursday. We've got St Mirren on Sunday, and then we go to Aberdeen. I mean, if we were to lose to Aberdeen at Pittodrie, I mean, I don't think there's much if about it. I think when we lose to Aberdeen at Pittodrie, I mean, that's so sad to say, isn't it? But we're that bad that he's going to be genuinely in trouble. But like I said, I don't think he's going to get sacked. Guys, I'd love to know what you thought. I mean, it's not just today, guys. I'm not basing this decision on today. I've looked back over the season. We've scored 1 goal in 4 away games. 1 goal. We've won 1 of our 4 away games. That's it in the league. We have been appalling. And it's not just that, it's the way we play, the style we play. Hibernian, second half, outplayed us, yet they're bottom of the league now. One of the worst teams in the SPL. And we were outplayed by them second half at Ibrox. And they were unlucky not to get something. So I'll be honest with you. Time's come. This guy is done. He's a busted flush. He really is. Pedro Caíña 2.0, Paul Le Guen 2.0. And Monaco fans will be sitting there in their principality, I think it's called, same as the Welsh one, saying, "Told you so. We told you. We told you so." Guys, I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. I've just reached that point where I genuinely think we win nothing this season. If he stays, we finish 3rd. Guarantee. Guys, let me know what you're thinking. Drop a sub, drop a like, drop me a comment, do a share, whatever you need to do, guys. And remember always, please remember, at this time, more than any other, it is so important that you remember we stick together. We're one Rangers family, and we are the people.